But yeah, he guys like that anytime.
We are live on YouTube now.
Okay.
Ready to start.
Let us get situated. Okay, I'd like to call to order the City of Twin Oaks Board of Aldermen meeting for August the 7th, 2024. Please stand for Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Eisenhower. Here. Alderman Stokel.
Here.
Alderman Whitmore.
Here.
Mayor Fortune.
Here. We have an agenda for this evening's meeting, properly posted.
Did have one revision.
We have one revision, which is item C under 9. It's bill number 2024-14.
And we had to add that at the last minute because that's the municipal court contract and it runs out on August 9. So it was just given to us yesterday, so it's kind of an emergency addition.
Thank you. If there are no other changes or amendments, I'll take a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda is approved. Any citizen comments online?
We have one viewer online.
One viewer online.
No comments though.
Taken in alphabetical order. Let us-
Okay. He has 3 minutes.
Don't give him that much time.
We have consent agenda, Board of Aldermen regular meeting minutes from 7/17/24, Board of Aldermen closed session meetings from 7/17/24, and a bills list from June 23rd to 2024 to August the 2nd, 2024. Any discussion? If not, I'll take a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Consent agenda is approved. Report of committees, Officer Weiner. Please report.
All right, for the month of July, we had 40 radio calls, 140 self-initiated, which generated 14 reports, 14 traffic stops. We had 3 felony arrests, 2 misdemeanor arrests, 1 summons, 7 auto crashes, mainly at Big Bend 141, 2 at Big Bend Merrimack Station, 1 at the lot on Merrimack Station. We had the 1 burglary at the church, and on the bike I logged 15.2 hours. Questions?
But he was interfering with you?
No, that was an interfering on a traffic stop. Basically giving false information, which would be the interference.
Burglary at the church has been investigated and resolved.
Within 4 hours, we had him detained in 4 hours.
Excellent.
Prayers were answered. Very good.
Thank you for last night for the National Night Out and for having the helicopter come over and having your presence there.
My pleasure.
We have illuminated our building in blue for you.
Or so we hear. We haven't noticed.
What was the estimated attendance?
It was better than it's ever been.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think at least 50 people probably
I would say,
in and
yeah.
out,
In and out,
Yeah.
probably.
yeah.
which is good for us. I mean, I think last year we had maybe 10
Yeah.
tops.
And I think it was good concentrating it down at the
Yes.
basketball court.
Mhm.
Created a nice environment where more people were talking and intermingling and so forth.
It's good of the fire department
Yes,
to come to.
yeah. And the Girl Scouts, they had
Yes.
a table there with bowling, I believe.
Yeah, they brought bowling.
They brought several games.
tic-tac-toe,
Yeah, ladder golf.
ladder golf. So the round setup worked well.
Yes.
Yeah.
That next time as well.
So thanks to everybody that contributed to that. And also, a thank you to staff for managing and helping out last night's election, working late hours to get the place closed up properly. Thank you. Anything else? Any questions?
Nope.
Okay. Old business, we want to talk about investment accounts.
Okay, so Dave said he would be here tonight, but I thought just since we're kind of just doing the first step in what might be a multi-step investment approach, that he didn't need to be here tonight, and I could kind of walk you guys through what we talked about with Enterprise when we met with them last week. So the top is what our current accounts look like with Enterprise. So that's the balances as of last week when I put this together, the current interest rates. So their recommendation, and both Dave and I agreed with that it's a good way to start, is to consolidate some of these accounts. We didn't need all these separate, like we aren't sure what the special general checking was. That might have been a holdover from when we were saving money for the balloon payment or something like that. So they are recommending that we keep our operating checking as is. So that's obviously what we write, the city's daily payments out of. Dave said we could consolidate the sewer lateral account, but I kind of like having it separate so that we can see what monies are in there kind of easily and at a glance. So I recommend that we keep that separate. And then they are offering us the ability to do 2 new accounts. So really the reserve money market account is the same account that we have currently, but they're offering us a much higher interest rate on it. So that one is currently getting 1.4%. It would go to 3.85%. But that one is a totally liquid account that we could move money in and out of as needed. So if we have a big expense or we're paying a larger bill, like for the stormwater sidewalk project, things like that, that can be shifted around with no penalties. But obviously then that interest rate is subject to fluctuation depending on how, if they cut rates or whatever. And then the one that would be more locked in would be a 13-month CD, and their best offering, that's the best offering right now at 4.65%. So in discussing this with Dave, we talked about the other options like MOSIP and some of the other things. We both felt like maybe this would be a good way for us to start with some portion in this 13-month CD. And that's what really I want you all to decide how much out of that total reserve fund that we have, that 1.846 million, that you are comfortable with having tied up for 13 months and getting that higher interest rate. And then if we like the strategy that we're doing, maybe we can look, or if interest rates change or things like that, we can look at spreading some things more around to like MOSIP or another option. So that's kind of what I would like the board to discuss and give us some direction on how much of that total you feel comfortable with having tied up for 13 months.
Is the interest rate fixed
On the CD it is,
on the 13 month?
correct. And then I added some stuff at the bottom. This might help you also think about it if you didn't look at this already. So that's the total that we have in our current reserve accounts. There is a little bit of a higher rate structure, $130 a year really would be kind of negligible. But I also added up kind of our current monthly operating expenses have been running about $150,000 for the first 6 months of 2024. And then I also added in what is left out of our capital budget that we made. So we still have another $360K to spend, which is essentially what we're going to spend on the stormwater project before the end of the year. So if that helps you think about what liabilities we have out there before you decide on a dollar amount that you want tied up for 13 months.
The stormwater project?
Yeah, the sidewalk stormwater project. Yeah.
Capital
I
improvement
know it
project.
as a sidewalk.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
So we've been talking about that for 3 years.
Yes,
Exactly,
yes.
yes.
You're
I didn't know
right.
It had a new name.
Stormwater sidewalk. We want to be sure to get that stormwater in there.
Yes, we do.
Okay, we've always kind of been told by our financial advisors that we needed to keep a reserve in case of something drastic. And in thinking about that, if we get into a mode where, say, for 12 months, we're pulling our belt real tight, we're going to be cutting capital expenditures. There are some expenditures that we can cut and still keep everything running. So 150 per month is probably high in terms of what we think we need with a reserve. Also, keep in mind we have business continuity insurance as well. So say if we spend say if our budget's 1.1 million, probably in a shaved down budget, to keep everything running, we're probably talking somewhere around 750K bare bones to keep everything running. So we want to be able, wherever we invest the money, without hurting the investment, we want to be able to draw out at least 700,000, I would say.
Well, and what if we just looked at cutting that in half, which leaves like 9 in there, right? Roll
Yeah,
that up
to start
I'll
out.
get with math in my head.
Yeah.
So.
And maybe,
Yeah. So
and-
this current, you're saying, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, if we just did like half of it in there, keep half of it, that
Yep.
gives us well cushion and a decent amount that we're putting in there.
and then as we get more comfortable with this, we could add
Exactly.
more.
Exactly, right. That was, yeah.
I think
that was
that's a
my
good,
thought.
good suggestion.
And keep in mind, we're going to be, spending another 360K
Yeah.
before the end of the year, likely.
I mean,
So there's 2 accounts. One of them is, can you move it up?
Yep.
We got one at 3.85 and one at 4.85.
Right.
And you can pull out from the 385.
anything you want.
Yeah.
Correct.
Anytime you want.
I don't see any danger in putting it in there.
Right, we're saying what should we, of the amount monies that we move, what amount are we comfortable putting in the CD amount?
Right. The rest of it will go
versus
in.
The rest of it
the
will
three
go
We'll
into
go
that
into the
amount.
reserve.
Yeah. It's really just how much you feel comfortable having tied
So I
up for
was just
13
saying,
months.
yeah,
So I think we're saying
if we
Nine-
start at 9.
900K into the 13-month
Into the
CD
CD. Okay.
and the remaining balance into the MMA.
Because then, I mean, this is our first time doing this, so I feel like that gets us to
Yeah.
a comfortable point.
Yeah.
And we aren't pushing too hard to like, if something were to happen, we aren't, none of us are getting worried that we can't access that money.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
Well, that should pay us a pretty fair
Oh, yeah.
dividend.
Yeah.
900,000,
Mhm.
1.65 should give us a
Mhm.
Yeah.
nice cushion
Yeah.
in itself towards the end of the 13 months.
Yeah, and to be honest, even the 3.85.
Yeah, with
You
the
know,
change
so-
to the interest rate, even in the reserve fund, I think that's going to be, as long as rates hold. I mean,
I
that's
think
going to be.
That may pay for
significant.
Paul's expenses.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And we gotta pay for Paul.
Maybe there'll still be some sales tax coming
On you?
in. Yeah. I do charge
So,
sales.
so I think what we need is we need a motion to go with the staff recommendation and adding 900,000 in the 13-month CD and the remaining balance in the MMA.
Alright, I would make a motion to do that.
I would second,
900,000, 13 months.
I would second that because, wherever it is now is not gaining us anything. And
Not
that's,
1 point, whatever.
that's irresponsible in itself.
Yeah.
Your roll call on this. Nope. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Done.
Okay, thank you. I will call Enterprise tomorrow.
Okay, new business, resolution 2024-14. A resolution exercising the city's option to extend its contract with the Brain Mill for a period of 1 year and authorizing the city clerk to communicate such action.
So this is our last renewal with the Brain Mill on the 3-year, or I guess the contract that we started. And then we had 3 1-year extensions, and this would be our 3rd one. So if we want to go out, kind of like we talked about at the last meeting, if we want to go out for bid next year, then it would be a good time to do that because it'll be the expiration of this contract. So
I would make a motion that we approve resolution number 2024-14.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We will adopt resolution 2024-14, 3 yes and 1 absent. Okay, next appointment to the Park Committee. I would like to put forward nominee Mike Cruson. We reached out to the prior applicant and got no response back. So Mike stepped forward and said he would like to join the committee.
Nice. It's great.
Need a motion?
Yep.
Oh.
I move that we accept the recommendation for Mike Cruzen to become a member of
Park Committee.
our committee
Second.
for a 3-year term or the filling of a vacant portion of that 3-year term.
I will second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. And he's a good builder of games.
yeah, yes,
Sorry
yes.
about that.
Okay, bill number 2024-14, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute a renewal of the contract for municipal court services with St. Louis County, Missouri. Any discussion?
Just for clarification, I think it's 24-14. Tech.
Okay, 2024-14. What did I say?
No, I'm saying it's not 2024-14.
Yeah, we're.
We make our resolutions and ordinances different, so
Oh.
it's
So
actually
as to
just
not confuse
24.
That could be my fault.
That's okay.
No, we're supposed, yeah,
I
no.
just
You're
wanted
right,
to
Gotcha.
screen it.
be clear
Yeah.
for
Okay,
the record.
any further discussion?
Rate the same.
Did anything change?
It is, it's the same, it's just an extension of the
current
regular
agreement.
one, which is the 50-50 split kind of deal.
Bill number 24-14, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute a renewal of the contract for municipal court services with St. Louis County, Missouri.
Motion to approve bill number 24-14.
Second.
Call roll, please.
Alderman Eisenhower,
Yes.
Alderman Stokel,
Yes.
Alderman Whitmore.
Yes.
Bill number 24-14 becomes ordinance 24-14, correct?
Correct.
By a vote of 3 yes and 1 absent. No discussion items. Attorney's report,
None for me.
city clerk report.
Okay, so we talked about election day a little bit. We were very busy, which was great, and I wanted to say thanks to Paula too and John for coming in early and opening up City Hall and being here at 5 a.m. or whenever they needed to be in here that morning. So, and we talked a little bit about National Night Out. I wanted to say thanks to Wayner for all the work he did for that. He was really instrumental in with the setup and getting all the games down there, and he helped a ton. So that was really great. I am working still on trying to get a park maintenance schedule established. Since it was difficult to get sort of generalized reports. I have asked the staff to give me daily reports of what they've been doing so that I can then compile the schedule from that. So that's kind of where we're at on that. The new park security cameras they started today, not Monday. So Brain Mill was down there. The new ones are great. They're very flush and lower, and they will be on top of the pavilions instead of underneath. So you really probably won't even be able to see them as much. So we went down there today. Officer Wayner met me down there with Kevin, and we went over the locations for the cameras. And so he's supposed to finish that by the end of this week. So they'll be back up and running, which is great. We'll also have a new 360-degree camera up in the top of the pavilion too. Which
Are
will
they
be,
recording 24 hours or?
I don't have
Still movement.
it's movement still.
Yeah,
Okay.
We don't have the.
Oh, movement, okay.
Yeah, they're active.
We actually have that running.
Yeah.
So
But we do have clips for how many days? Is it 7?
1 week, yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
We can
7
go back
days
1
worth
week.
of clips that we can go back and look. So
Which is
Yeah.
plenty of time.
Sure.
Yeah. So that was the RFP for leaf vacuuming is due next week. So, and we sent it out the same way we did with the stormwater sidewalk project. So it went out to the Site Improvement Association and then on our website and distributed through the normal channels. So I'm hoping we'll get more bids on that than we've gotten in the past. And I'm still in progress of updating those permit forms. So Dennis came with a bunch of great feedback. Thank you, Dennis. Looked at all the permitting that we have currently and how kind of confusing it is. So Paul is helping me a lot with that too. So we're going through them kind of form by form and getting them updated as we can. So if you see some that are, some get pushed up to the top of the list when people start coming up and asking for it and going, why does this say this? And what is this? I'm confused. Then that one gets pushed up to the top. So I made some changes to the commercial sign permit today because of that. So for project updates, we are meeting with Spire over at the Crescent site. They have some concerns about being able to leave part of that road open. So Russ and I went over there, met with them recently. We're meeting with them again. So just trying to communicate to them that having any portion of Crescent Road closed for a significant amount of time is not going to work for us. So they've got to figure out some
Did
way.
they locate the water line?
They did not yet. And I went over there today to look and see if those stakes were out that he mentioned they were going to stake today.
April
did
had
not
to-
get
April had to
staked.
talk to Spire guy off the cliff.
Yeah.
They were like, we're shutting the road down. We said,
Yeah.
no, you're not.
No.
I mean, it's a thoroughfare for obviously the fire department. The bus route goes that way. It's just not feasible. So Tiffany's going to meet with me again with them next week and we're going to get them straightened out.
Looks
So,
like there is a viable option, excuse me, depending on where the water line runs,
Mhm.
that they'll be able to keep half the road open.
Right. So they have to be able to let people through there. So on the park grant, this is just kind of, I think, basically the same update that we had, but basically from our public hearing, just a reminder that our next public hearing will be September 18th is the idea that we'll have the second one for the planning grant. So this is where we'll talk more about the sort of scaled down project version of the project, which is the feedback that we got from the first public hearing. So BFA is going to talk about kind of two options for either widening the roadway parking lot to accommodate cars going in both directions, or adding a sidewalk down the side for better pedestrian safety. So we'll be able to do one or the other as phase one of this grant. And then the idea being that we would apply as a phased project and make sure that the Grant Commission knows that we will be coming back to them for phase two, which would be the turnaround. So doing the more expensive portion of the project first, and then having phase two be the slightly less expensive version of the project or part of the project. So that will be coming, and obviously BFA will be here when we do the public hearing again, because they need all that documentation when we submit the final pieces for the planning grant, which we currently have. So we're currently under the planning grant. We won't apply for the project grant until August of 25. On the Boley Lane entrance, I am still waiting to hear back from the county on the feedback. So for the crosswalk maintenance agreement that the county wanted. Apparently, all of the submittals have to go through the new county portal, online portal. So Tiffany was working that out, and so she, I think, needs to follow up with them again and make sure that they've seen it and will give us their feedback. So that's kind of on hold until we know for sure that they will agree to that maintenance agreement with us. And then last thing is the park electrical upgrades. I reminded John last week, 2 weeks ago, that we have that $25,000 in the capital budget. And if we want to get that spent this year for park electrical upgrades, that we need to get on that pretty quick. So I've asked him for what his wish list, his prioritized wish list would be. So hopefully he'll get that to me. Didn't happen last week. Maybe this week it'll happen. And I'll have that before the park committee meeting. We're also going to talk about it with the park committee, just to ask them what their wish list would look like and what their priorities would be. And then hopefully that'll lead us to be able to engage with an electrician who can evaluate our current system and tell us what we can get done with that $25,000 budget and what we need to put in our budget for next year to finish the project.
Is that next week's meeting?
Yes, it's Tuesday, I believe, right? Next Tuesday?
Monday.
Monday. I keep thinking it's Tuesday. Monday, next Monday.
The members may need to be advised in
Yes.
advance so they can be thinking about those things to contribute during the meeting.
Yes, I have mentioned it to Connie and to Janet and to Joe Cruson, but I will send an email out to the whole committee so that they know to be thinking about that as well.
They have been working on lighting. I mean, their recommendation on this is basically going to be, where do you think we should have electric?
Yeah, exactly. Kind of what's the wish list? Like where would you like to see additional
Yeah.
safety lighting?
Right.
You know,
And
where
then,
do you think we
yeah.
should have additional outlets?
Prioritize it.
Right,
Yeah.
and then what's most important to you, and then hopefully we'll find out what's most important for John, and then we can kind of marry those two things together and see what we can get done this year.
And you're thinking about approaching a general contractor, a general electrical contractor to give their input after this is all.
Yeah, I mean, we think we'll have to, just for them to be able to evaluate the current state of our system. We're having a lot of trouble with the pumps,
Yes.
obviously, in the park, and we think that could be an electrical issue that's maybe it's undersized for the capacity of those pumps. We really don't know. So we've
The-
added things on over the years.
The other
piecemeal.
thing too is we expanded the comfort station.
Mhm.
I'm not sure that we updated the electrical in the back.
Right.
Mhm.
It would be surprising if we didn't
Yeah.
upgrade that panel.
Right.
Yeah.
And that in and of itself is probably.
Yeah.
we have to.
And I think that is creating a lot of our pump problems and
Could be,
It could
so
be.
forth.
definitely.
So yeah, but it would be nice to have the priorities obviously in hand, because the electrician's gonna want to know what we want, you know,
Exactly,
if,
yeah. it's hard
before
to
they can tell us.
blindly bid, yeah.
Right, exactly.
I mean, they gotta have a starting place.
They have
Yeah.
to have a starting place, exactly. So,
This is really gonna be a total departure from years ago when the recommendation was no lighting in parks. So that
Right.
you wouldn't encourage people to
Yeah.
come in the dark.
So funny.
Right.
and we've talked about, instead of having it lit at night, maybe some of these are on motion sensors. So that if somebody is coming in late at night, it's like a floodlight that would hit them, and that would maybe deter anybody from, you know, that's there to be vandals or whatever if they got hit with a floodlight as they're coming down at night. So that's always an option to look at, you know, for overnight, not
Kind
having
of like the light at the gate,
right
that one at the gate, autumn leaf gate comes on.
Mhm.
as a
Yeah.
motion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a fine line between making people really comfortable about being there at 10 o'clock at night
Right.
or not.
Right.
You know?
Mhm. Yeah.
And if that has something to do with lighting, then it just does, but I don't know how to.
Yeah.
I don't know where that line starts and stops,
Yeah.
that's for sure.
hmm Any other questions for me? Okay, that's all I have.
Okay.
On the roadway blockade business,
hmm
I suggested to John that perhaps like think about a possibility of a detour that would be feasible for a short period of time if needed. Or does that exist? There is roadways.
Okay, let's make sure we're all on the same page here. There's only a section that they're talking about closing, and that is from Crescent Road, Crescent Avenue,
Mhm.
before Frank Venturella's driveway. So
118,
there are no
yeah.
homeowners that would be left out in the dark, even if they closed the whole road. They could go the other way.
Right.
So they do have access.
And I think we could post that, we're discouraging, like keeping it to local traffic only, sort of discouraging people to use that as a cut through during construction.
Yeah.
It would still be one lane open for the bus, for obviously the fire department to use, ambulances, that kind of thing, and the residents who live there. But I think perhaps with a good, PR campaign to get the word out that there's going to be heavy construction, and to avoid the area if possible, that would help limit the traffic going through there without having to close the road entirely.
They're gonna have their
Manchester did that
trucks
with Laban right here.
They did,
parked
yeah.
on.
They actually did have portions of the road
They did,
closed, but
yeah.
they had a detour through the neighborhood, so that was a little bit easier than what our detour would
Yeah,
look
But
like.
for locals only.
For locals only, correct, yeah. So I think we could put some signage up like that would help.
The main thing is we have to make sure that the water line is in the proper location, so it's possible to do this.
Mhm.
But even if they had
I'd
to
vote for
close it,
underground.
Yeah.
sorry,
I'd vote for underground.
yeah,
We're definitely gonna do that, definitely.
even if they had to close it, the residents over there will still have a way in and out of their home.
That's true,
so,
yeah. It will not affect anyone's driveway or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be a little bit of a hassle to drive around, but
Anything else?
okay.
Good. Thanks.
I just wanted to note, I did a kind of a walkthrough inspection of the park today, especially weeding, and it looks like we're making progress getting all the beds weeded,
Good.
and it's looking a lot better.
Yeah, especially around the dam portion was getting pretty overgrown, but it looks really good.
So thanks to Kevin, staff, whoever's out there weeding, it's looking better.
I noticed something that might need to be taken care of on the gazebo. That white dogwood is laying on the roof of the gazebo. I think maybe some of those branches need to
Trim back.
cut back.
The gazebo back by the autumn leaf gate, is that what you're
Yeah.
talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I noticed up by the multi-purpose court last night, we have a dead tree back there. So, I mean, if we're gonna have somebody come out and do some tree trimming, might be the time to take that tree out.
Where is it? By the.
It's right behind the basketball court. If you go out there, you'll see it right away. It's
Mhm.
dead,
Okay.
dead. Okay,
Got it.
Alderman comments, Tim,
No, sir, I don't have anything.
Lisa.
I just want to say thank you for promoting the event last night. It was really nice to just get out there. For one, we had beautiful weather.
Mhm.
Good job. And to have so many neighbors out there and kids running. I mean, it was exactly what it's supposed to be.
Right.
And I want to like the last time I remember doing that was maybe one of the first earliest times. I mean, my kids were still little.
Mhm.
We had like the dog came. You weren't here.
Mhm.
And like that's the last time I remember it being a crowd.
Mhm.
So that was fun.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I agree with that if I can jump in there.
You can,
Yes.
That was good.
you can. Well, I'll jump in there again too. Connie and Janet Herbold went around yesterday to all the businesses, and they're getting a very, very good response to wanting to contribute to our Family Fun Day. So most of the businesses are stepping forward.
I feel like that used to happen too. Like we kind of got away from that.
Mhm.
I would say, maybe it was time, like shop, we sort of wound up in a place where Shop and Save was giving so much we didn't have to ask people anymore.
Mhm.
And so I feel like we then got away from when Shop and Save left, we just kind of stopped asking.
Yeah.
And they've always in the long distance past been huge, like advocates for their community, so
I think we talked a few
I think it's
few
nice.
meetings back about trying to be more business friendly,
Mhm.
you know, which is, they're our bread and butter, so we should recognize that
Yeah.
occasionally.
Yeah, it's important to keep the relationship open and the communication, which I think even before I was here, Paula was doing a great job when they would call and ask about their business licenses. And, she was having conversations with them, which I think is very, very helpful, for them to have a friendly voice on the other end of the phone when they call and they ask for something. So
Yeah, and I think
that helps open the door a lot.
Yeah, and I will say that because so many people come to our events like a Family Fun Day that aren't Twin Oaks residents,
Mhm.
right? That it's really nice because some of those people don't know these are the Twin Oaks businesses either,
Mhm.
right? Like they don't
Yeah.
know when they're, eating at 1357 or whatever it's
Right.
called. We call it off-brand Kriegers at my house. That they're actually eating in Twin Oaks.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
it's that recognition of like when I'm spending money at Schnucks, I'm spending money in Twin Oaks is not necessarily something that anyone outside of Twin Oaks knows. So
Mhm.
that's the thing that we're giving our businesses by saying, hey, do you want to come participate in these?
Mhm.
Is people knowing, oh, this is Twin Oaks.
Mhm.
And,
If only Ace Hardware knew that.
They do. On their Facebook page, they say Ace Hardware Twin Oaks. They do. They can't get corporate on board, but they do.
Dennis?
I would think in relation to that, we have some businesses that have opened recently. And I would say, as a matter of procedure, perhaps we should send out an email to our list welcoming a new business, give their phone number and their hours of operation
Mhm.
as a matter of
Mhm.
courtcy.
yeah, I didn't realize
Each
that the
new
liquor store had
business.
opened until.
Yeah, I
somebody
didn't
said it
either,
last night.
really. Yeah. So, I was thinking about doing that as either a social media post or, something at least to welcome them. We did it when Ace came. We posted the picture of all of us and the ribbon cutting, So I think that kind of stuff goes a long way to welcome them to the neighborhood. So,
Yeah.
we will definitely be doing more social media, more outreach, things like that for sure.
And there's a for sale sign in front of the first bank. Is there anything we should know about that?
I haven't heard this.
I haven't heard
I
it
haven't
either.
seen it.
I thought somebody just bought it. The
Yeah.
building,
Maybe so.
some time ago.
I don't know. There were crazy blue lights on the inside of there the other night.
Really?
Yeah.
Like crazy blue.
Yeah.
We were like driving home from Fritz's and it was like disco theater in there.
Oh, wow. I don't know.
Didn't we get an inquiry about putting an elevator in that building?
Oh, we did? Okay. That's news to me. Must have been before I got here.
That one lady that came by that.
And that was the new owner, I believe.
Yes, where they were exploring their options for updating the inside of the building.
Okay.
And one of the things was to become compliant and being able to install an elevator in there.
For ADA compliance.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
But I haven't heard anything from them since she came and she talked with me and then she chatted with you a couple of different times.
Yeah. So I don't know anything about it being for sale.
I just noticed it yesterday.
Yeah.
We'll keep you posted if we hear something.
Well, maybe that interest fell through and now they posted.
Maybe.
Could be,
It's possible. Yeah.
maybe because they couldn't put an elevator in.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Anything else, Dennis?
Not that I can recall.
Okay. Any final citizen comments?
No, not unless
Did
you
we
can
get
read
a peace
emoji.
sign? Pretty sure that's peace.
Okay,
Yeah.
with that,
Peace out.
take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.